So, moving ahead here into, what is this, late 45, drew another naval counter that actually decreased the naval status. It turns out all the positive ones had come up. A situation that made one of the parliamentary cards the sea beggars or whatever. The Dutch coming in to help the English didn't have any effect whatsoever. So it wasn't going to be played as an event. Alright, so what else do we see? Well, we've expanded, and actually the Royalists are able to move into the south now because Maurice has moved here, and we also saw the parliamentaries moving into there. It's really a race to see, can the Royalists survive? That's the first question. And the second is, if they can the parliamentarians gain enough points? They're probably a little behind right now. Given all that, got some cards to deal out, but troop-wise, one big problem for the Royalists, they only get one unit per turn, and except for whatever they, play by their grandee card, which isn't terribly valuable now because there are less and less. There's less local notables, less regional generals on the board. It's going to be tough to get troops on the board in this game. All right, but for Parliament, on the other hand, well, they still have the up naval value, so they're getting 2 a turn base, plus the easier recruitment if they so desire to use their cards that way. I'll deal out the cards for the turn, and we'll start kicking off. So, in my last video I was talking about this Earl of Brentford card, and my wife pointed out to me, that has a restriction on it, and I looked it up, and yeah, indeed it does. It's got to be played before winter of 44, or by winter of 44 or something, for the bonus for Charles in combat. However, I can still use it as this 2-point surprise strike if need be. So it's not that bad. It's just it doesn't have the little edge that I had hoped for on it over the other card. It still allows me to use a 2-point card like I had before and hold on to something that would have been less valuable. Anyway, onward. So one key point is the parliamentaries get, now that the new model army's out, they get the choice of who goes first. And they, I believe, took it this time. And I don't remember what happened exactly. It's so hard to remember with these fast-paced games what's going on. But they ended up chasing Rupert out of here at one moment. Both sides have played recruitment cards now. The Royalists they have such a hard time recruiting anything. They had to throw a local notable with their grandee card, so they threw Newcastle up here. But then the parliamentaries are able to upgrade Massey and Cromwell using the 2-point card. There was no way to use a 2-point card for the Royalists, at least until they free, say, Bath. And that didn't look like it was going to happen real soon. Alright, so now we're on the Royalists again. Maurice tried to slip around, converting territories. The goal here, cut off all of Cornwall. Some parliamentary territories would go. It's not going to be enough to fling them out of the way, but it makes it a little bit easier, maybe free growth areas for the Royalists, etc., if they manage to get this connection running. However, Massey slipped down, smacked Maurice, defeated him actually, minor defeat, or minor victory, and then moved back up where he can cut off the entire south. So that was kind of an effective thing. I was supposed to go bring Gerard down to help with that. It didn't end up happening, and that was a mistake on the Royalist part. So now I'm back on them. And in the end, things go pretty poorly for the Royalists, with Rupert caught down here trying to connect up with Gerard and come down. Well, that didn't work. Massey caught him. Even battle, defeats him, wipes Rupert's force out, and gets control here of the Forest of Dean. This has cut off, that action has cut off the blue areas here. Now they would probably be cut off anyway. I don't remember the ordering here. Yeah, the ordering would have cut it off anyway before. That would be an issue. So, that's not too big a deal. Question here now is, well, did they survive? And I've got some rolls for desertion and supply and such, and I'll come back after that. Okay, so the Royalists survived by about 3 points. They've got around 25-26, somewhere in there. One thing I forgot to mention with what's his name, Newcastle came down here and started converting and grabbing territories with this intention of kind of cutting off a swath of parliamentary areas. Again, reduce their power and weaken them significantly. Well, Cromwell marched up and destroyed him. That was a trivial battle if Newcastle couldn't get out of the way, except for the die rolls. It ended up being a draw, actually. Cromwell didn't even get the victory, but he ended up holding the space. That'll convert, and that's good enough. Royalists got kind of a bonus here. They only had one unit left on the board, one brigade left on the board. So losing 3 brigades, it didn't happen. They only lost 1. Parliamentaries actually had to lose 3, and it's this constant thing. Parliament is constantly losing the maximum, whereas the Royalists, well, I didn't have that many left anyway. I don't know how you can look at that. Either way, it's kind of neat. Okay, on into the winter. Well, one of them unforeseen events. Nothing random here. Just me not being comfortable enough with the game to realize otherwise. Losing my armies with the Royalists at a stage in the game where there are no more local notables. Bang! Not just the South's gone. Wales, which I'd been working towards. All that's left is this little northern swath up here. That's all that can connect and be in supply with each other. This is horrible. This is, going to be impossible basically to recover from, because I'm going to be facing, how many do I have here? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I've got 15 spaces. I got to gain 9 spaces to survive the turn. It's just not possible. I mean, it really is not. I can guarantee you this. With the Protestants, with the parliamentarians trying to prevent this from happening, it's not going to happen. I'll play it out. But this was a big oops. And I don't know what I could possibly... There's no way to reverse it, It was losses throughout the turn and then the desertion. And it's just the fate of the Royalists here. There's kind of exciting maneuvering going on over here. I don't think it matters towards the end of the game, but Rupert was cut off from some troops he was trying to raise. He grew here and brought some troops here from the initial reinforcements. The Lord General marched in, laid siege to some of his troops. Rupert came up, drove him off, and hit the Lord General, I think in 2 different victories. Actually chased him off in one of them. But now Cromwell came up, joined the Lord General. And now they're attacking through the mountains at Rupert. It's harder to evade somebody who comes from the mountains because there's like a surprise attack or something. But Rupert doesn't really want to. He wants the decisive battle. It's going to be about an even battle, which he knows. But Cromwell and the Lord General have these reiters, which it ends up, that's going to give him a 2-point swing. So let's see, what did we have? 2, 4... to 3, 4, yeah. So it's actually a 2-point bonus on the red die, which is the parliamentarians. And they get a 7 to a 3. That's only a 4-point swing. It requires 5, if I recall correctly. Hard to remember because there's different games here. Maybe 4. And each of these has different designs, and there's no clear chart in this one to just look things up and say, that. There's a lot here on the table, but everything else you got to kind of paw through. Oh, there is here. But again, I'm not sure where I'd look. Major victory, 5 or more. 5 isn't what I've got. I've got an indecisive. It's 4. That means I'm not going to get the decisive victory bonus, nor the turncoats bonus. However, I did get the victory, which goes against Rupert, and Rupert has to lose just a militia. He doesn't have to lose the elites, and he's driven back. That victory flips this. And that was a move here. 1, 2, 3. I've got one more action, one more move. Move forward. Try to chase him again. Does he want to fight? My feeling is unless I win this completely, I don't have a chance. So I'm going to keep going and keep fighting. Writer's card is gone. and we have 4 strength points to 2. It's really a +1 for the parliamentarians. Not a big bonus, but I'd like to wipe them out. So what did I say? +1, +2? I don't know. They have 4, +2, +1, 7. They get a 3. They get another victory. They've taken Rupert down. I didn't have to fight that out. Now they're here, and they can start laying siege to this if they wish. It's probably not going to have an effect. Anyway, that was sort of one of the key little occurrences that was happening. One chance for the Royalists. They've still got Newcastle up here, though, who's left alone. Hey, maybe he can do something. Okay, well, Newcastle was back here. He drew or played this Northern Horse, which gave him an elite unit from the north. The northern troops from the Royalists haven't been used much, so he could actually pull it out of here. I was expecting it was going to be in the dead pile. Normally, I think the Northerners get pretty heavily used. The Lord General came charging to try to engage him then, and he slipped away. Now we're at the point where he wants to try to act and do everything he can. He does not know what the parliamentarian player is holding. If he's holding action cards, this is going to be tough. Does he want to fight him? Not terribly. He doesn't really want to bring things under siege. What he wants to do is try to gain as much territory as he can. How can he do that? Well, he can't flip pieces very easily. He can only flip a couple at a time with his card plays. He doesn't have the local notables who can do a significant amount of that action. But he does have some of these cards, so he'll play his core and move this. 1, 2, 3, 4. He's just trying to grab what he can and maybe keep alive, but he doesn't have a lot of cards, so that seems unlikely. Well, the Royalist doesn't have much in his, or the Parliament doesn't have much in his hand. He can add to the Covenanters. That's not going to really help my situation. Tough call. I'm going to slap something down here, simply because maybe I can hold on to the east with that extra piece. I'm not sure I can keep control of things otherwise. There's not much I can do beyond that. I can't lay siege here, so there's really not much at all. And now we just keep playing the Royalists out, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. And they've got one more. They've got this Earl of Brentford card, which allows them to bring Charles on the board, take command of Newcastle here, and do the same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that'll cut off some of these parliamentary spaces as well, making it harder for them to win. They're not going to get control of, well, there's not going to be another turn to remove those, so it doesn't really matter. All right. All they have left, one more card, a 1-point operation. They do not have anyone they can use that with. They don't have any troops anywhere. If they did, they could call in Gerard or Maurice to grab those troops and do something quick. They don't have them. All they got is a 1-pointer. Well, at least they can extend their territory a little bit somewhere. It doesn't really matter where. All right. Now we got to see, did they live? Because that's the only real issue here. There's no sieges underway that are going to be rolled for in the blockade phase. Desertions, who cares? It doesn't really matter. Yes, we could go through the mechanics, but let's see what we got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. They missed it by what? 3 points. You know, real close. The Royalists lose. If they hadn't lost, what would happen? Well, let's take a look at who controls what. Nobody controls the southern region. It would take 11 areas. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's not it. No one controls Wales. What about the Midland? I think they might. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, they've got the Midlands, so that's 2 big points. What about the East? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 in the East? No, that's not quite. In the North, probably not, with 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. The North, not quite. So we're talking they have 2 points there. And then we get to add some of these in. 3, 4, 5, 6. 7. Looks like about 7 points. I don't know. Nowhere near the 19. I may have missed one, say here or something, that I didn't really think about. But nowhere near the 19. There is no way the parliamentary player was going to be close without, other than by wiping the Royalist player off the board like he did. Now, is it even possible for the parliamentary player to get that kind of point level? 19 points, where it's 2 per region that you have control of. And then 1 point per economic zone that you have. There's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 regions, so that's 10 points if you have control of most of the regions. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 economic Gee! Actually, you cannot win. What am I missing here? Right? I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Is this a little joke that... Oh, there's a 9th one up there. Is this a little joke that Vassie put in? You have to control every single thing by the end of the game as the parliamentarians to win if you don't knock the Royalists out? It might be. I think it would be even funnier if it was impossible. Let me make sure I've got it under correct. 12 or more victory points. Oh, 12 or more. There's 19 total. Okay. Gotcha. All right. Not quite as cute a plan. But seriously, I think it's going to be very hard for Parliament to have 12 points on here. I didn't make it, right? 12 points without the Royalists being knocked out. The only way I can see it happening is a very non-combative game. And it might be some kind of added impetus to throw the Royalists into halving to try and, push a little bit and hold something towards the end of the game. Anyway, I think we saw some interesting swings here. It looked like Parliament was going to win for most of the game, but definitely the Royalists hung on longer than you might have thought they could have, given how wiped out they were at one point. I'll come back with my review in a bit.